It's now my great pleasure to welcome Professor Roy Crawford, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Waikato, to formally open the conference. Professor Roy.
Thank you. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. As Vice-Chancellor of the University of Waikato, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to this event and to this venue, and thank you for choosing it for the event. Thank you also for the invitation to say a few words at the beginning of this very important event on sustainable land and water management. In my view, it's difficult to think of a more important discussion topic, more important for New Zealand, or indeed more important for countries all around the world. Your deliberations on the roles that science and communities play in sustainable land and water management will, I'm sure, help us to prepare in a rapidly changing world where a business-as-usual approach just isn't going to work anymore. The relationship between science and Landcare is well established to maximize productivity, but also to utilize the land and the waterways in a manner that's sustainable. The University of Waikato, I'm pleased to say, also has an important focus on sustainability and sustainable development. For example, we're a strategic partner with Field Days, and we have key professorial leaders such as Bruce Clarkson, David Hamilton, Chris Battersley, whose multidisciplinary efforts have recently been consolidated and formalized with initiatives such as the Environmental Research Institute, the Intercoast Program, and the Coastal Marine Research Station. The latter is relevant to your deliberations because what we do on the land and the rivers and the waterways eventually affects the coastal regions. We're also delighted to welcome Jacqueline Roarth to our staff. Jacqueline has joined us just recently to cover agribusiness because economic sustainability is an important element of the overall sustainability discussion and debate. I know from your presence here today that you don't need to be persuaded that to ensure successful outcomes for improved environmental resilience and management, it's crucial to have a partnership between the scientific research community and the end-user community. The New Zealand Landcare Trust performs an extremely important role as a bridge between scientists and community groups. This bridging function is the key to success through technology transfer that maximizes agricultural production and profitability, but in a way that's balanced with the need for appropriate environmental stewardship. And in New Zealand, of course, we always recognize and acknowledge and are fortunate to have the important role and contribution that Maori make to the discussions. They keep us focused on the need to respect the land and the water and to always ensure that these fundamentally important resources are used in a way that's sustainable. I mentioned earlier that we're proud to be a strategic partner with Field Days. This year, the theme for Field Days is the changing face of farming. I feel certain that the outcomes from your event over the next 2 days will feed into the thinking at Field Days. Farming is changing, and it is critically important that it should. Charles Darwin observed that it's not the strongest or the fittest of a species that survives. It's the one that adapts most easily to change. In closing, it's pleasing to note that you will have influential government ministers and commissioners as part of your event. This is very important because the policymakers need to understand the early warning signs and the messages that are emerging around the world. A key message for everyone is that continuing to do what we've always done or continuing to do what we're doing at the moment is not sustainable, either economically or environmentally or socially. If we're to ensure that future generations can produce the food and water to meet their needs, then we must change the way we're doing things at the present time. I commend the Landcare Trust on organizing this event, and I wish you well in your deliberations. Thank you.